The name of the movie is Convict. The movie begins with an introduction to our main character, a military serviceman named Ray. After a rigorous tour of duty, Ray comes home with a special surprise plan for his girlfriend, Kelly, who is spending a peaceful day at the park. Sneaking up behind her, he reveals himself, instantly lighting up her face with joy. Ray, with a heart full of love and hope, then takes out a beautiful engagement ring and proposes marriage to Kelly. Overwhelmed with happiness, Kelly accepts his heartwarming proposal. As the newly engaged couple prepares to depart, their blissful moment is interrupted. Two men pull up, causing an unexpected commotion. One of them, named Tim, steps out with an audacious intention to seduce Kelly. In an unthinkable and distasteful act, Tim undresses himself in public, exposing himself to Kelly. Filled with rage at this violation, Ray, like any loving boyfriend, fiercely comes to Kelly's defense, and a fight ensues with the two men. In the heat of the fight, Tim wields a knife, escalating the situation. Ray, with a soldier's instinct, attempts to deflect the incoming attack. Amid the chaos, a fatal accident occurs. Tim, in his clumsiness, ends up stabbed by his own knife. Ray didn't directly cause it, but Tim's life is tragically lost due to his own misstep. In the aftermath of the horrific incident, Ray and Kelly seek legal advice, as Ray now faces a murder charge. Their lawyer advises him to plead guilty, explaining that it could substantially reduce his sentence. Weighing his options, Ray finally decides to plead guilty, accepting a shorter term behind bars. The narrative then shifts to Tim's father, Harvey, a man torn apart by his son's untimely death. Consumed by his grief, he also harbors a desire for revenge, aiming to make Ray's imprisonment a living hell as a way to avenge his son. Upon learning about Ray's prison location, Harvey reaches out to the warden, the authority who governs the prison. Harvey makes a proposition, ensuring that Ray's life in the prison becomes unbearable, and that he never finds his way to freedom again. He offers a substantial amount of money to make this happen, money the warden could use to bribe the prison guards, making them accomplices in ensuring Ray's stay is as dreadful as possible. The scene then shows the commencement of Ray's life behind bars. A bribed prison guard named Rico is tasked with greeting the fresh batch of inmates. Among them is Ray, who, along with the others, is instructed to take clothes off for a thorough security inspection. From this early point, it's evident that Ray's stay in the prison will be filled with hardship and humiliation, as the guards seem intent on making his time particularly tough. Following this invasive check, the head guard, a man known as Williams, escorts Ray to meet the warden. After a brief encounter in the warden's office, Williams leads Ray to his assigned cell, offering him some must-know warnings along the way. The toughness and unfriendliness of the place becomes apparent as Ray is provoked by gangs just out of nowhere. However, when a fight looks like it's about to start among the inmates, a group led by a man named Mazen comes in to help Ray. It seems like a big fight between two gangs is about to happen, but then Williams steps in. He breaks up the trouble and tells everyone to go away. Within the prison walls, Ray is assigned a job in the library. Here, he encounters David, an older inmate who, in contrast to the others, appears somewhat friendly. As Ray settles into his cell for some reading, he's abruptly interrupted by Rico, Victor, and Fox, three guards who commence an unexpected cell inspection. During the inspection, Rico finds a photo of Ray's girlfriend, Kelly. This personal intrusion takes a more tormenting turn as Rico mocks Ray by licking the picture, driving Ray into a rage. However, restrained by the other two guards, he's helpless. Rico's actions become even more awful when he rips up the photo, leaving Ray anguished. Later, while Ray is in the shower, he is approached by a larger, gay inmate with unwanted advances. Utilizing his military training, Ray defends himself, punching the inmate and pushing him away. However, this act of self-defense is met with Rico's rage, who brutally beats Ray before dragging him back to the warden's office. In the warden's room, Ray attempts to explain that he was merely defending himself against the unwanted advances. However, the warden seems to dismiss his claim, demonstrating no interest in understanding or acknowledging Ray's side of the story. The storyline proceeds to lunchtime in the prison, where Ray once again crosses paths with the older inmate, David, and a young prisoner who appears quite out of place in the chaos of their surroundings. Ray and David strike up a conversation, and David shares a dark story from his past. A few years ago, he and his brother had been involved in a violent robbery. They had attacked a cash transport vehicle, taking down two security guards and a police officer in the process. However, the heist had ended in tragedy with the death of David's brother, and the stolen money remained undiscovered. The only person aware of its hidden location is David. Their deep conversation is interrupted when Rico barges into the room, bringing news to Ray of a visitor. His face brightens up as he learns that his visitor is none other than his girlfriend, Kelly. This is her first visit since his imprisonment, making it a precious moment for him. Unfortunately, their reunion is short-lived as Rico abruptly puts an end to their conversation. Following this, we see Ray spending time with Mazen and his gang, engaging in a friendly card game. Perhaps impressed by Ray's military background, Mazen extends an invitation for him to join their ranks. In the meantime, the young inmate from earlier is bullied by the same gay prisoner. Fortunately, Ray steps in, intervening on behalf of the young boy. This encounter draws the attention of Williams, who swiftly steps in to defuse the situation. A later scene finds Ray assigned to the task of cleaning the toilets. As he's in the midst of this job, he's approached by the inmate he had a previous altercation with. The man, seeking a payback, tries to attack Ray. but Ray, with his military instincts, manages to fend him off. However, Rico shows up. This time, though, the warden also arrives on the scene. In a cruel and unexpected twist, the warden forcefully shoves the bat into Ray from behind. This cruel action underscores the corrupt nature of the prison, highlighting the depths to which the guards, under the influence of bribery, are willing to go to make Ray's life in prison a living nightmare. The following day, we see Victor, one of the 3 guards bribed by the warden, meeting with his co-conspirators. He voices his dissatisfaction, expressing his unwillingness to continue the senseless torment of Ray. He even threatens to report their deeds, reflecting his struggle with the moral implications of their actions. After Victor departs, Williams, the unbribed head guard, arrives on the scene. He is unaware of the corrupt dealings happening under his nose. He criticizes the remaining guards, Rico and Fox, for assigning Ray to clean the toilet, as he had specifically assigned Ray to work in the library. Throughout their discussion, Williams emphasizes that they should not make any decisions without his approval, painting a picture of Williams as a guard who, unlike others, respects the rules. Following this interaction, Rico and Fox report to the warden about Victor's intentions to expose their scheme. The warden, determined to protect his cruel plans, instructs them to deal with Victor, implying that they should eliminate him. The 2 guards then carry out a cell inspection on a random inmate's quarters. They plant a sharp weapon there, frame the inmate, and quickly exit, leaving the inmate to kneel and apologize. In a shocking turn of events, this same inmate is later assigned to clean the toilet, where he stumbles upon Victor's lifeless body. Almost immediately, Rico and Fox arrive at the scene. It becomes clear that this is a well-planned murder. They swiftly pin the blame on the inmate found with the sharp weapon, successfully covering their tracks. In the next scene, Ray and David are sitting together. Ray inquires about Mazen, curious about his standing in the prison. David shares that Mazen is a significant figure inside the prison due to his control over a drug supply and his command over a gang. Their conversation, however, does not go unnoticed. From a distance, Mazen's gang spots them talking and approaches Ray and David. Mazen warns Ray to choose his allies carefully in prison. He hints at the existence of another rival gang, emphasizing the volatile dynamics within the prison walls. Soon after, during a routine shower, Ray and David suddenly find themselves caught in a violent scene as Mazen's group abruptly barges in and stabs a man who had a prior altercation with Ray in the toilet. This man is revealed to be a member of Mazen's rival gang. The accusations immediately start flying in Ray's direction, suggesting that he might be responsible for the attack. In a bid to clear his name and avoid any impending threats, Ray seeks out the rival gang and explains that he had no involvement in the murder. His convincing argument leads the gang to understand that Mazen's crew is likely behind the assault, sparking an intense escalation in their ongoing rivalry. Simultaneously, Ray's girlfriend, Kelly, pays a second visit to the prison. However, she's met with gross misconduct by Fox and Rico, who force her to undress for a security check. Despite the humiliation, Kelly complies, her desperate longing to see Ray overpowering her disgust. In a different area of the prison, the young boy who has been badly treated by a gay inmate with harmful wants is trapped in a secret room. The young boy, pushed to his limits, builds up bravery to fight back against the one hurting him. In a last try to save himself, he stabs the bad man and ends his life. As Ray is spending time with David, Rico and Fox suddenly pull him to a warehouse where Mazen is waiting. Here, it becomes clear that Mazen too has taken a bribe to make Ray's life in prison as horrific as possible. The story gets more complex when Mazen threatens to hurt those who Ray cares about, like David and Kelly, in a mean plan to ruin Ray's life. As Ray rushes at Mazen, the guards block him and start to hit him. At this moment, Ray hits his limit. He can't hold in his anger any longer, so he fights back. He beats both Rico and Fox, showing his real strength and training from the military. The fallout from Ray's altercation with Rico and Fox sees him confined to a punishingly dark isolation cell. Williams, concerned by the incident, confronts the warden in his office, questioning his decision to send Ray to the warehouse where the face-off with Mazen occurred. However, the warden refuses to acknowledge any involvement, reminding Williams who holds the ultimate authority within the prison walls. Ray, meanwhile, is thrown into torment in the dark cell. Weeks pass in this harsh solitude, pushing him to the brink of going crazy. After enduring this extreme punishment, he's finally allowed to rejoin the general prison population. As Williams escorts him, he attempts to understand what's causing Ray's consistent poor treatment. Ray, however, chooses to remain silent, as he is too traumatized from his experience in the isolation cell. Ray begins to feel better after his scary stay in the dark cell alone. However, Mazen wants to get revenge. To achieve this, Mazen orders the young boy, who was a friend of Ray and David's but now is part of Mazen's group, to stab Ray. But the boy, torn between his old friends and his new gang, can't bring himself to hurt Ray. Subsequently, in a harsh show of power, Mazen kills the boy because he refused his order. The news of his friend's murder pushes Ray over the edge. Driven by grief and anger, he confronts Mazen's gang in the prison yard. He takes down one of Mazen's men and rebukes Mazen for his ruthless act of killing the boy. This display of standing for fairness earns Ray the respect and support of the other inmates. He calls out Mazen, challenging him to a face-to-face challenge. Mazen accepts the challenge and the duo engage in a combat. In the ensuing fight, Ray dominates Mazen with ease, his rage and military training combining into a lethal force. He finds himself strangling Mazen, on the brink of ending the man's life. But when he catches sight of David shaking his head in warning, he lets Mazen go. In the chaotic aftermath, a knife lands within reach of the defeated Mazen. Seeing an opportunity to strike back, Mazen lunges at Ray, only to be intercepted by the self-sacrificing David, who takes the stab protecting his friend Ray. The confrontation concludes with the leader of the rival gang seizing the opportunity to end Mazen's reign of terror once and for all. Following the fatal showdown, Williams escorts Ray into the warden's office. It's here that the warden shares the disheartening news: Ray's prison sentence has been extended. Frustrated, Ray lashes out, successfully provoking the warden into a confession. The warden confesses that he got paid a lot of money to make sure Ray's time in prison was as awful as it could be. What the warden doesn't realize is that Ray got him provoked on purpose. This was a clever trick by Ray to make the warden confess his crimes while Ray was secretly capturing everything on a recording. With this confession in hand, Williams and his team jump in. They arrest the corrupted warden and his paid-off helpers, Rico and Fox. With the dust settled, Ray visits his genuine friend, David, who's receiving medical care. David, in an act of trust and friendship, reveals the hiding place of the stolen money. He urges Ray to claim the money and build a happy new life. David also shares his deep love for his long-lost daughter and asks Ray to give her a part of the stolen money if he manages to find her. In the final scenes, Ray is granted his freedom and meets his joyfully waiting girlfriend. He fulfills his promise to David by finding his daughter, handing her a bag of money, and encouraging her to visit her father. As Ray leaves his past behind, Williams resumes his duties, welcoming a new batch of inmates to the prison. Among them is Harvey, the father of Tim, the one who bribed the warden. If you want interesting movie recaps, like, share, and subscribe to follow us for more movie recaps.